Hopefully lodge up yourself. Pick up yourself as your host. Selah Shalom, chiming in on the ones and the goddamn tools. You know how we do. It's the vibes. Yes, family, ride the rhythm. It's a vibes. Yes, family. You know how we do. The host, Selah Shalom, chiming in on the ones and twos. The vibes. We back at it. These are the righteous gods and their Armenian gods, the created gang in the building. You know how we do. I wanted to give a big major shout out to the brother Daryl Cosman for coming and breaking down an excellent presentation on honoring humility, Malachi Maccabee TV. You know how we do. You know what I mean? It's like, as I listen to that presentation by our brother Daryl Cosman, I come to the conclusion, like, I don't think the opposite opponent would have been able to rebuttal that information that brother Daryl Cosman brought. Because it was like, thou shalt not murder and kill. And man, the way he went in on that, it's like, to try to justify God killing after a presentation like that, man, it wouldn't look too good for the God. So it was a good thing that he backed out. You see what I'm saying? And I noticed that when it comes time to debate, and it comes time to close to debate, when they get closer to that date, they back out. They get to running. They get to coming in with excuses. Even with me and Neptali debate. Me, Neptali, Sadnetta was on the phone, and some other guy, I don't know who he was. We all agreed what the topic was, when the date is, the time. And once that phone hung up, I got to working and getting my presentation together. A couple days before the debate, it got political. Oh, we want 3 judges. We need to have this judges. Oh, let's have it on this platform. I was like, whoa, where all this coming from? Why is it getting political over us just presenting information? So couldn't find out she backed out the debate, just like this brother backed out the debate. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I ain't mad at that. It just shows you that if your information is potent and strong, you don't give a fuck what the rules of the debate are, nigga. Let's get it popping. And if you agree to something, stick to the agreement. That's why I fell back and said, you know what? We're going to go back to teaching. We ain't going to waste time with these debates because they're not ready to debate. They may be ready to debate other books like the Bible and, you know, whatever. But when it comes to the Owaspy, as far as chapter and verse, man, it was like, yo, what y'all running for, yo? You know what I mean? Peace to everybody in the chat chiming in. I see you chiming in. Nat Deezy, I see you. Prince, I see you. I see y'all chiming in. On the lookout. Peace. Peace to the righteous gods and goddesses. You know what I mean? It's just the vibes right now. You dig? It's just the blood clot vibes. Shout out to Awaken to the Truth. The most disciplined faithist when it comes to dropping lessons every morning. You know what I mean? Shout out to the goddess. I have to get you on a show one day. You know what I mean? Do an interview with the sister. Matter of fact, all the sisters who are dealing with this information, from the Nazarene to the Owaspian. Nazarene and the Owaspian connection, you dig? Yeah, yo. Bazel, I see you. Peace to the God, Bazel. You know what, Bazel? I didn't get a chance to listen to the song yet. I got the email and I did see the email, but I didn't click on the link yet. So matter of fact, I'm gonna do that today. To click the link, son. You know what I mean? Guys out here putting that pain with the music. As soon as I get this studio up and popping, y'all can come to the booth, spit your bars and all that. Eliyahu Yeremah, what's good, family? I see you. Peace to the righteous gods and Narvinian goddesses. Yeah, you already know, Bazel. Already. Yeah, man, I just decided to get online, yo, no particular topic. Was feeling good in spirit. Dreadful Cosmon, I see you, King. Peace to the God. Peace to the family chiming in, yo. But yeah, Daryl Cosmon, boy. If y'all ain't seen it, go check out Honor and Humility. Go check out that presentation that Daryl Cosmon brought. You know what I mean? He exposed the fact that the Creator is not with the killing, not with the murdering, although the Creator gives you free liberty to kill or murder, do whatever you want to do. You have the free liberty to do what you want. But by doing so, whatever you do, there's rewards and consequences to your behavior and actions. You know what I mean? So in one breath, God say, thou shalt not murder and kill. Then in another breath, he out here telling niggas to slay people. That's why y'all need to put that Bible down, read the Owaspi, so you can understand the difference between what is a false God assuming to be the Creator in comparison to a true God, rightful ruler of the heavens and the earth. And then understand and distinguish that neither a false God or a true God are the Creator. You got to learn that. You can't even explain those things in the Bible, chapter and verse, clearly. Yeah, I've brought a lot of people to the Owaspi. Throughout the years, a lot of people who said they wasn't rocking with the Owaspi is rocking with the Owaspi in 2020, going into 2023. You dig? We in 2023 over here. We ain't in 2022 no more. We in 2023. We ahead of schedule over here. A nice little buddy. That shit be cracking me up when I see Israelites talking about they against the bud, right? But then they over there eating some goddamn chicken. Like, nigga, if you don't go sit your monkey ass down somewhere. Well, you know the Most High said, yeah. The Most High said, go cut your ass a lamb or Passover and eat that shit, nigga. That's what your Most High said, nigga. But I'm just ranting, talking my shit. Takiba, I see you. What's good? True Beautiful for Ashes, I see you. Wise Flow, I see you. Y'all got any questions? Hop in. Anybody want to hop in the chat? Holler at me. I can open the floor. I ain't gonna be on long. Excuse me as I like my spliff. But yeah, we stay on the necks of the gods, though. That's my whole premise. You know what I mean? We stay on the necks of these false gods. So Daryl Cosmon did a great job. You know what I mean? If thou shalt not kill, why God command killing? You know what I mean? If you got a child and you tell your child, don't touch the fire, don't touch the stove. And then you go back and tell your child, man, go ahead and touch the stove. That's what's going on in the Bible. That's what's going on with your God in the Bible. In one verse, when he say, thou shalt not murder, then in another breath, he out there killing niggas. You got Moses out there burying niggas under the sand. You ever seen that movie? I think it was either Casino. Was it Casino? I think it was Casino. At the end, it was Casino or Goodfellas, I forget. At the end of the movie, where Joe Pesci got his ass beat with the bat before his brother, and then they buried both of them niggas in that hole. Now keep in mind, these niggas had to dig that hole out, damn near 5 feet, 6 feet deep, and then they threw them niggas in there and they started burying them back. You know how long that would have took? That would have took no 20, 30 minutes. But in your Bible, Moses looked left. He looked right. And once he noticed that nobody was looking, he slew the Egyptian and buried him in the sand. This is the same man who came with thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not murder. This is Moses we talking about. Goodfellas, all right? Goodfellas, yeah. So what you seen at the ending of Goodfellas, I'd have pulled that shit up, but I want no strikes. If you see what happened at the end of the Goodfellas with Joe Pesci, that's the same shit Moses was doing. How Joe Pesci was getting buried in the sand, that's Moses burying Joe Pesci in the sand as the Egyptian. And then the nigga who bury and come back to the people and say, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not kill. Well, hold up, nigga, you just got to bury the man in the sand. While in the Owaspy, they said that shit was a lie that Moses killed the man. That shit ain't happened. They lied against the man. So Owaspy is giving more merit about Moses not being a killer, while niggas reading the Bible want to justify Moses being that killer. I remember I seen that video with Selah Shalom and Zion Lex when they would sit on the couch beside Netta, and that topic came up, and Zion Lex was like, yeah, it's good that the Hebrew killed that Egyptian. It's like he got turned up. I said, look at that. Look what the false pens of the false scribes got how these niggas acting, to the point where Seti and Zion Lex about to stand up and get into a fight over false doctrine. Zion Lex don't even know he defending a false interpretation of Moses being a killer. Owaspy say like, nah, nigga, that shit didn't happen like that. It was a lie by the Egyptians to stigmatize the Exodus. That's what it's saying in Owaspy. Clears Moses from being a killer. They even got Abraham as being a killer in the goddamn Bible. In the Owaspy, it says, none of my followers were ever killers and murderers. I said, damn. We got to recalculate this thing then. Because David out there slewing niggas, the whole of Israel was out there slewing niggas during the time when they was in the land of Canaan. You dig? You dig? So yeah. Steph in peace. Yeah, man, I just stepped on for a minute. You know what I mean? You know how we do. I move like a thief in the night. I just come on whenever. So these false gods put a number on niggas, man. Think about it. Think about what these false gods did. First of all, the false gods got you believing that an angel is the creator. I done clarified that shit numerous of years. Decades I done showed and proved this shit. When I first started to watch me back in 2009, I was telling niggas God was an angel. That's the first thing they got to contend with. Fuck the 7-day creation story. You got to contend with God as an angel. And if you admit that God is an angel, you have to admit that that angel is not the creator. And then if you was to ask a Hebrew Israelite, no, I'm not going to even talk about the Hebrew Israelites. If you ask somebody who read the Bible, well, what is an angel? Where do they come from? Who are they? What is an angel? First thing you're going to do is go to the definition of what an angel is, the Melech in Hebrew, and you're going to read what the definitions say, which is supposed to be done, and it's going to say messenger. And that's the most you got. That angel means messenger. But then when you look at God, you ignorantly think that God is something separate from an angel. You have angels that stand in the presence of God. God judges in the midst of the congregation of the gods. If y'all ain't put two and two together yet to see that God is a man and an angel just like you sleeping. You in denial, right? And then once they realize that, okay, if God is not who he is, then who is the creator? That's the next question. Who is the creator? You know what the answer to that is? The creator is omnipresent, unfathomable. The only way we could fathom the creator is through creation. Now, when you start talking like that, you lose them because they so accustomed to looking for a God in the sky to be their creator. Like when I was talking to Quinard that time, we were talking about the vortex, and he said, see, look, I'm sitting here as a man. I made this. See, he's still looking at man as creator. But when I told him, I said, well, who creates a hurricane? Who creates a tornado? Is there a man standing there doing these things? Then he started thinking like, damn, okay. I said, well, who produces hurricanes? Is there a man standing there blowing his breath going, whoo, to create a hurricane, to create a tornado, to generate a vortex in creation? Creator is demonstrating creation before your face every single day, and you niggas is in denial. Every time you see a hurricane generating out the ocean, anytime you see a cyclone generating off the Pacific, that's the creator in motion, in action. When you see it rain, everything in nature is the expression of creator. The Comedics had it right. They say creation is aspects of nature, right and exact. They are absolutely right. Yeah. But where the Comedic community, where they sneaky at, is that they don't go into the text. So if you're telling me that the gods or the Netarus are aspects of nature, which I wouldn't deny, show us in the text. You show us Nun, being the sky, the cosmos. You show us Geb, being the earth. You show us Shu, being moisture and air. The concepts are there. The only difference is that it's false, in fact. Because the concept of Nu, standing over, bent over, is some shit they made up. You could have literally just goddamn showed what the constellations is, but you showed a woman bent over with stars in it. So symbolically, we could say, oh, that's an aspect of the cosmos, feminine. They show Geb laying on his back as the earth. We know the earth to be a woman as Mother Earth. But in the ancient Egyptian creation story, they got Geb as a man laying on his back. Instead of drawing a goddamn man on his back, nigga, just show some grass, trees, and we'll reference like, all right, nigga, that's nature. But saying that to say that every creation story from the Sumerians, Babylonians, same shit, Egyptians, all their creation stories are allegories. The Egyptian, the Kemetic community, they know they shit allegory. But the biblical community have a problem with the allegory of the 6 to 7 day creation. They think that shit is real. Niggas is running around here thinking the Anunnakis is real. Niggas is running around thinking Anu and Enki and Enlil, Ninkarsag, the sister. They think those stories are real. All those stories are fabricated. Created by the one and only false god, Anu Hassaj and the Owaspi, and it shows you how he created the story. He made the shit up. Took pieces of hair, like with the flood story. Yeah, there was a flood, the sinking of the continent of Pan, but he didn't put the sinking of the continent of Pan in his flood account. The flood account you have in the Bible is what the false god gave you. And the actual flood account that really happened, it was the sinking of a continent. And way more than 8 souls survived. 12,420 people survived in the original story. But in the false account, Anu Hassaj gave you 8 souls to repopulate the earth. That nigga had to have been a dumbass nigga, bro. I'm sorry. Anu Hassaj was a Lord God. You know what it takes to become a Lord God? And for you to reach that status and give us a fairy tale on that scale, it's embarrassing. That shit is embarrassing. Exile, I see you. Peace, family, I see you. It's good. Misha, I see you. Peace to the sisters. Shout out to the sisters, man. I love the feminine energy. Love the sisters. You know what I mean? Because niggas is always going, hop around things, but it'd be the females that'd be sometimes it'd be the hardest to get across. Because look at the rap game with the females twerking, shaking their ass, a lot of the glorrillas and shit like that. Just imagine them motherfuckers change and start dealing with the Owaspi. All them niggas gonna convert. Because niggas follow the women. So if you have a strong woman presence, it's gonna naturally draw the men because the niggas gonna know what the hell going on. Why all these females looking at this nigga? Like Kevin Samuel and them boys. They popped off because of the women. You draw the women, you're gonna naturally draw the men. But for this instance, we're dealing with information, spirituality. God, creator, who was Lord. The females don't even be mentioned in a lot of these concepts when it comes to religion. The Owaspi talk about the female goddesses. You know what I mean? You got Sepet Armaj, daughter of Jehovah, in there, an Etherian woman who came to rule for 3,000 years and manage the heavens and the earth under her watch. See that? And when you ask somebody what's the purpose, they don't know. Why are we here? What's the purpose of life? Niggas don't know. Ask somebody who read the Bible, what's the purpose of life? They don't know. Ask somebody who read the Quran. Ask somebody who read the Kemetic knowledge. What is the purpose of life? They don't know. And when I ask them that, I'm not asking based off your personal opinion because everybody got one. I'm asking you based off your spiritual religion, your spiritual tradition. What is the destiny of yourself? If you believe in Jesus, what's the purpose? What is the end game? What is the end game? I was watching Sinetta the other day, and they was talking about the end game, but what is the end game? What is the end game? When you die, what's the end game? You just die, and that's it? You do all this research, and then you die, and you expect somebody else to take up your research? Niggas may not take their research up, man. It's only a few niggas taking up John Henry Clark and some of these elders who came in the 70s. A lot of niggas is into new, different shit. Technology is popping right now. Niggas is more into science, and each generation is going to change. Every 11 years changes. Look at the 50s from the 60s, change. Look at the 60s from the 70s, it's different. The 60s was nothing like the 70s. The 70s ain't nothing like the 80s. The 80s wasn't nothing like the 90s. If you notice, every 10, 11 years, it's a change. The 70s, Black Power niggas rocking afros. 80s came, hip-hop popped up into the world. What'd you say, fam? Shalom, beloved branch. No, what's that? You're right there. They think they'll hear the trumpets and experience the rapture. Yeah, a lot of people are waiting on things to come. You got niggas waiting on the second coming of Christ. Niggas was waiting on the second coming since he left. See that? Niggas been waiting for Jesus for 2,000 years. And my thing is, if the nigga returns, what he gonna do? What he gonna do that you can't do right now? It's a fair playing ground. If we smaller than all these other nations, then why are we at the bottom? Why are some extraterrestrials gonna come fly from across the galaxy to do a battle that we can do ourselves, man? It survives. Y'all be mindful, man. Y'all looking for Jesus to come back? Y'all looking for these extraterrestrials and chariots to come lift you niggas up? You better be careful, man. Watch me talk about these false gods and their chariots too. Niggas ain't tell you that Satan had chariots, did he? If Satan, according to the theology, if Satan fell from heaven with 1/3 of the angels, for those who believe that, what you think them niggas traveling in? You think them niggas fell and just floating to earth? If we have airplanes, helicopters, we done mastered aviation on a terrestrial level. You think these angels ain't got celestial ships, celestial bodies? You think they don't study aviation in the spirit world? What you think be floating late at night in the night sky when you look up towards the sky and you look up there for a minute, you see them stars flying across the firmament. You see that shit. I don't know if y'all see them, but I see it all the time. Or why we call them starships, because they up there with the stars, but they coursing. Yeah, who you think piloting that? See what I'm saying? Somebody driving that shit. Linda Beach, I see you. What's good? What it do? You said, what's that? According to their Bible, Jesus already came back for 40 days and nights. They didn't pay attention when they read the King James. See that? Yeah. Even in the Book of Mormon, when you read the Book of Mormon, when Jesus resurrected, he came to America. You ain't read that? Read the Book of Mormon. I got that shit. Jesus came to America. That nigga light reached over here. What's that? The names Jesus equals 74 and Lucifer equals 74. Interesting. Because Lucifer is Venus, the bright morning star. Eric Hamilton, I see you. Peace, God. Holocaust song Twilight Zone touches heavily on this new knowledge of creation deep. The real battle is against the ignorant who try to block ascension. Facts. Facts. Because we coming with ascension. Let me tell you something. If any of these conscious motherfuckers start talking about Etheria, know that these niggas been studying over here, because ain't nobody talk about Etheria more than what we talk about. You know what I'm saying? The Etherian world, the Etherian kingdoms, the Etherian angels. Ain't nobody talking about them Etherian beings more than us over here dealing with the Selassie. So if you got anybody start spewing out Etherian talk without referencing the Owaspy, they a goddamn fraud, and they trying to act like they got that shit straight off a download. Watch out for these download people. The people acting like they just receiving this shit from download and they not reading their information from somewhere. You ain't fooling niggas with that shit, man. Niggas who seasoned in this shit like myself, you ain't fooling nobody. You may fool the new niggas, or you may fool people who not really up on game, but niggas who seasoned in this bitch, we see you. We always see the frauds. It's a blood clot vibes. Where's your sister? True that. You don't know. You don't know. Thanks, the reality. Create a gang in the building. Yeah, I'm about to see my wife's hand coming to the camera.
No, you're not.
Let me get this L trying to act like you don't smoke. It's a blood clot vibes. So the part I see, what's good, family? Yo, a guy just said that on his stream, talking about he was downloading. Niggas out here downloading this shit, you know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. You can get a download, but these niggas' downloads is false. These niggas' downloads be false, yo. It's our anniversary, family. My wife wanted to let y'all know that it's the anniversary. She about to cuss me off for not saying that shit.
22 years.
What you say, Linda? I caught a clip of Trump telling us to yearn for ascension. I found that out of his character, but he might know something that has Constitution. Don't know. Yeah, Trump is an interesting character, yo. Appreciate that. Deshaun says happy anniversary, honey.
Thank my sis. Thank my sis.
Wifey said thank you.
My beautiful
Thank
sister.
you. Congrats is coming in. Awaken to the truth, Pam, the one I listen to in the morning. When you be asleep, and I'll be waking you about to sleep. She said happy anniversary as well.
Thank her.
And all the anniversary shout outs coming in. Big ups. But yeah, family, we exposing these false gods. We're going to continue to bring out Battle of the Holy Books. You see Daryl Cosmon put that pain in, and ain't nobody show up. His opponent didn't show up, and if his opponent would have showed up, he would have had a lot of explaining to do. A hell of a lot of explaining to do. Respect. Big up yourselves. Large up yourselves, yeah? Large up yourselves. Remember just the other day I was fussing. Y'all remember that? It's part of the game. It survives. Yeah. So like I say, they contention, the biblical contention starts with the very first chapter, Genesis 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That's the first contention. Because God is an angel. So like I said, once we admit to them that their God is an angel, they got to admit that they're not worshiping the creator. Their creator, their concept of the creator is a man. They can't work their head around that. Quanah had a hard time working his head around that creation is done without a man being the one doing it. And this is the elementary steps. That's like saying man could be a king and niggas don't comprehend it. That's like, yo, that nigga's a king. Man is a king and they can't comprehend that, man. It's like, that's like, you know what I mean? That's what it's like. Like telling yo, creator is not a man. They scratching their head like, you don't understand. Because you've been taught for the last 2,000 years since that Bible been printed up, since you've been given that Bible in slavery, since you've been given that Bible when Ptolemy II translated it into the Septuagint or whatever niggas that was Europe living in Greek got it then, reading it then. And back then it was saying the same thing. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That slogan has been around for a very long time. That's chapter 1, verse 1. So you already, from right off the book, have a concept of God being a man. Because like when you first read the book in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, you think of space and time continuum. And then you just start seeing shit pop up. But then when it gets to verse 26, it said God created man in his image and likeness. That's where everything changed. Now you telling me that God is a man because it just stated it right there. So now if verse 26 is telling us that God is a man, we go back to Genesis 1:1 again. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now we have a man. Where is this man? He got to be standing somewhere in the confine of space for him to say, let there be light. And there was light. And it was good. What kind of baby fairy tale shit is that? When you a grown-ass man, you can't feed a grown-ass man no story like that. Nigga, how was light generated? We electricians out this bitch. We know how to generate light. You feel me? How was light generated? Especially dealing with the aspect of creation. How was celestial light created? Ask one of them niggas that. Ask them niggas how a sun is created according to the Bible. And see what type of goddamn confound answer you get. We already showed you. I showed you the other day how how suns are created through vortexy energy, precipitating gases to the center. We can show that and back it with creation. You came back in the beginning. God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was a formless void. It's letting you know that the earth was formless, but it was here prior to the sun on the fourth day. So they're letting you know that the earth is older than the sun in the Bible. Because after the earth was formless, then the shit started being created. And then by the time the fourth day come, the earth was already, it had vegetables, trees growing on the earth. Trees is growing on the earth. It says herb yielding fruits on the third day. And then on the fourth day, it created the sun for the greater light of the day, the moon for the lesser light of the day, and he created the stars also on the fourth day. Nigga, that shit don't make no sense. I mean, no sense at all. It doesn't coincide with nature. It doesn't coincide with cosmology. So how can you explain a 6-day creation story that's supposed to be scientific? How can you demonstrate that in nature? You can't. You can't. You can't. I showed you the vortices of worlds. I showed you that every vortex has a central sun. I showed that. The sun is in the center of the solar system. I showed that plenty of times. I'm talking about from fucking day one. In 2009, in 2009, when I first did the goddamn OWASP, that was the first thing I showed was the solar system. Hold on. Show y'all. I don't like talking my shit ain't now and then. Cause it's a blood clot vibes. Run the rhythm still, yeah? Even the elite do not believe in the biblical creation story. All CERN is missing is a vortex. Well, CERN is a vortex. CERN is a big ass circle. That's a vortex, and they spinning around an atom so it could collide. That's the story they give us. But they dealing with vortexian energy. If they want to tap into the unseen realm, they gotta speed up 400 nanometers or slow down 700 nanometers in order for them to tap in to the nanometers of infrared or ultraviolet, depending on which end of the spectrum they're kind of trying to tap into. The niggas tapped in. Oh, they tapped the fuck in. It's a blood clot vibes. It's a blood clot vibes. Yes, family. You know how we do. Alright. One second. I just want to show like niggas been talking about this vortex forever. Like if you read the OWASP, that's the first thing you're gonna have to read is the vortex. You cannot get past the vortex in the OWASP. It's a blood clot vibes. We back at it. But now, like I was saying, the vortex, right? Showing like we show and prove every time it's simple as mathematics. So, you know, like every vortex, if you notice, it has a central sun. See that? Central sun, central sun, central sun. This destroys the flat earth theory right here. See that? Look at this one. Look at this example. Galaxy. See the central sun? See the vortex spiraling? See our solar system? See the central sun? See the planets, which is subjected to the vortex spiraling? This defeats the flat earth theory because you have nothing. The flat earth, and it condenses the unseen, which is the unseen, but it could be condensed and seen under certain temperature or density. So the vortex, see, this spiral that you're seeing is really invisible. It's only making that gases, which condenses, so you could see the motion of that which is unseen, being the vortex. When the Creator said, I am the unseen is this very spiral, but the only way we can see it is through the density that you see right here. And in the center of the text, it creates the body of light. Can't escape that. See that? See these spiraling vortices? See that? Same rules apply. When the Creator creates these vortices, at the center of the vortices is the sun. This ain't got shit to do with no flat earth. Throw that shit in the garbage. Spiraling vortices. Look at the consistency of this. You can't show no examples of a flat earth consistently in cosmology like this. This is one universal order, just like the Owaspis say, what it states in the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy. Y'all can hear the train. I got a train over here. Got a real choo-choo train in my backyard. All right, we're at Book of Cosmogony. Yeah, we back at it. There we gizzle. All right. So like I was saying, if I was rudely disconnected by the high vortexian energy that precipitates out the son of the Creator. So like we were showing the vortex, you know what I mean? We're showing you the consistency that all vortices have central suns. And then we were showing you in Cosmogony and Prophecy, chapter 1, verse 1, where it states the same principles apply to all. All what? Stars, suns, planets, moons. See that? The same principles. This is the same principle. See, this is the same one universal principle that the Owaspis is referencing when it talks about creating worlds, vortices, all these warps. See that? I'm going to put more related content. So, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. See that? You can spiral. See that? Vortices. Look at all these vortices. Look at all that. Oh, they playing reggae at the park? They got something going on at the park? Let me find out. Look at that. Vortices. Look at that. They go 6 vortices. Nigga, show me 6 flat earth images of galaxies as a whole to prove your case. The case in point, look at those vortices. What the Owaspis say, the same principles apply to all the stars, suns, planets, and moons. See that? Again, same rules apply to all the stars, suns, planets, and moon. These are the same rules right here. See that? One universal rule of consistency talking about vortex. We come up. We come up. We come up again. Just briefing back what I touched on earlier. The whirlwind I made as a sign to man of the way of my creator worlds. Again, this is what they're referencing, vortices. This is what creator is talking about, whirlwind. We see this in nature, but we see this in creation as well. This is the true cosmogony. See that? Same thing. Look at those vortices. Look at this vortice. Look at that vortice. Look at this vortice. Slightly different, but still vortice in motion. What Jaja say? The whirlwind I made as a sign to man of the way of my created world. As you see the power of the whirlwind gathering up dust of the earth and driving it together, know that likewise I bring together the Jaya and the nebula in the firmament of heaven. See that? And by the power of the whirlwind, I created the corporeal sun and stars. But look at that. By the power of the whirlwind, I created the corporeal suns, moons, and stars. That's what they're talking about. By the power of the whirlwind. This is the vortex, equivalent to the whirlwind. And notice in the center of every one of them, there's a sun. There's a sun. According to the flat earth theory, the earth is the center, and the sun rotates above the earth inside of a dome. You don't see none of that shit in any of these examples. None of these examples show you that. These spiraling galaxies, spiraling vortex. See that? Look at that. Come on now. Niggas ain't got shit against this. And this is how Owaspis is letting you know how things are created in this manner. Look at that vortex. Look at that body of belt. Now, when the Owaspi, it also states that each planet has a vortex around it. So although the sun is the center of the vortex, and within the vortex, it creates smaller vortices that look just like it. But in the center now, instead of a sun, it's a planet. And then in the Owaspi, it says the moon was created because the moon at one time had a ring around it. Let me get Saturn real quick. See that? Right. So you see how this planet Saturn got a ring around it? The Earth had a ring around it also. And it stated in the Owaspi that the ring slowed down and condensed, forming the moon. So the moon was once a ring that surrounded the Earth, slowed down and condensed. And I found that quite interesting in the Owaspi. So again, when you see these vortices is what produce worlds. But then at the same time, these vortices, if they got rings around the planet, they can condense and form moons. So again, by the power of the whirlwind, I created the corporeal sun, moons, and stars. And look, it states, by the power of rotation. Now we see the power of rotation here. See, it's rotating, it's revolving. All these worlds are revolving and rotating. So the whole, see, spiral. See that? So the whole idea that there is no motion or the earth is not in motion, it's foolish because everything subjected to a vortex is in motion. Even the moon, which doesn't spin, but it's still in motion. See that? And notice the moon not spinning is a dead planet. There is no life on the moon because there's no revolution of the moon itself. So these vortices are letting you know, like, yo, this is how worlds are generated and created. We ain't talking about no goddamn fairy tale ass 7-day creation story. We talking about real mathematics and science. See that? These are pictures of telescopes that these niggas done zoomed in creation, and this is what they caught. And here you have a book written in 1880 before these telescopes was even created, describing the very thing that Creator is showing us here. By the power of rotation, these things are revolving. These things are rotating. By the power of rotation. Swift driving at the periphery condense the atmosphere. I condense the atmospheric worlds that float in the firmament. See that? And these become my corporeal worlds. In the midst of the vortex, I made them. Now, that's a key point. Because like I said, in the midst, meaning in the middle of the vortex. Now, as you see again, in the middle of all these vortices, you see a central sun. The central sun is going to sustain whatever celestial planet that's going to be produced within the vortex of the sun. Just like the earth. Without that sun, the earth wouldn't be here. That shit will dissipate on its own. So I'm showing you that at the center of all these vortexes is a sun. Let's go here. Look at that. At the center, a sun. The center of a sun. The center right here, a sun. Look right here, it's a sun. You can't escape this shit. Right here, it's a sun. Right here, it's a sun. Everywhere that you see at the center of a vortex is a sun. Look at all these vortices. Look at the center, sun, sun, sun. I could keep going to prove to you that first, the earth ain't no goddamn flat goddamn planet with the sun rotating around it in a circle. You might as well throw that ideology out the window because we're showing you scientific proof based off astronomers who captured these images in the constellation, or what we call the cosmos. And it coincide with what Owaspy is saying, how in the midst of the vortex, I made them. Made what? Sun, moon, stars, and planets. So goddamn it, there ain't really no competition when it comes with the Owaspy when it's dealing with the science, because the science lines up with creation. That's why we're going to forever win in a debate with the Owaspy against the Bible when dealing with creation. You feel me? And this is the book of Jehovah. This is the creator, the author of creator telling us this, and it's coinciding with what creation showed us, which gives merit to the words of Jehovah. All praises to creator. Mm-hmm. Did you say dreadful? I think a barren planet would be classified a moon. If it's barren, there is no need for rotation. Right. And see, the earth, the moon is an open vortex, and I found that interesting. Yes, sir. And then it says not all vortices lie in contact with the planet. So I was like, interesting. But he said it was a ring around the earth. Exactly. Like in the Owaspy before them, when it describes the moon being created, it said a ring was around the earth like Saturn, and then the ring or the vortex in that region, well, basically the ring condensed. It slowed down and condensed and formed the moon. I said, that's interesting. That's interesting. So the moon didn't break away from the earth. Let me see if I still got that picture up. See that? It's like at one point the earth had a ring around it like that in the Owaspy. It's a verse where it states that. So like as an example, it had like a dust cloud surrounding it. And then this particular dust cloud condensed, it slowed down. It slowed down and compressed and formed the ball. being the moon. I said, all right. I wish I would have had more to elaborate on, but it's not too far fetched from the reality of what's being shown in creation as far as worlds that has rings around it. Because even the Owaspy talks about worlds with rings. Right here. He said, around some of my corporeal worlds, I have given nebula belts and rings so that man may comprehend the rotation of my vortexian world. And this is an example of what they're talking about in that verse. Whether if you want to believe this is CGI or not, it's irrelevant, because even in the real pictures, the real actual pictures of Saturn, they still have a ring around it in the real picture. So this is an example of what the Owaspy is saying here. Around some of my corporeal worlds, I have given nebula belts and rings so that man could comprehend the rotation of my vortexian world. So by showing us these belts, we see the manner of the world, the vortex. And it stated that the earth had a ring around it at one point. Now, keep in mind, this is before man is creating all that. That how it just gives you a little quick breakdown of how the moon was created. I found that quite interesting. I'm like, okay. Drop in the chat what chapter and verse the moon was created from our Owaspian family. Who got that verse, chapter and verse? When the moon was created. Who got that? Let's see who got that. I don't know if I got that right with me quick, fast. Let me run the rhythm. I ain't even got it out. Yeah, though. Trying to figure what chapter and verse, but y'all know what chapter and verse. It's in there somewhere. I'm not for look for it right now, but it's a verse where the Owaspy states that it's a ring around the moon. The earth. It condensed and formed the moon. And then bam. And then you have Saturn with this moons right there around it. So it's like, for example, it's like, say this is the earth, and then you have the ring around it, and these rings slowed down and condensed and formed smaller balls, or like these right here, still carrying its orbit around the planet. Those became the moons. I was like, shit, that ain't too far-fetched. I can see that happening. It ain't too far-fetched. So again, around some of my corporeal worlds, I have given nebula belts and rings so that man could comprehend the rotation of my vortexian world. Now here's the next catcher. For each and every corporeal world, I created a vortex first. Now again, like I state, when you look at the vortex, when you look at these suns, because the sun is the first, and then come the planets. So the sun is the focus. You cannot have these suns without these spiraling vortices first. The Owaspy states, for each and every corporeal world, I created a vortex first. So again, see all these spiraling vortices? You cannot have these suns in the center without this spiral. You cannot have this light right here without these spirals. Look at that. Look at these. See this? See the sun in the middle? You cannot have that without this. See the sun in the middle? You cannot have that without this. The vortex is the cause of having a sun in the first place. So again, what did the verse state? For each and every corporeal world, this is the corporeal world, the central sun, I created a vortex first. I created a vortex first. Say it with me. I created a vortex first. Get it through your head that when we dealing with creation, if you do not have a vortex, if you do not reference a vortex, if you do not even mention the vortex and you're talking about creation, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because here it states, I created a vortex first. And then when we look into creation to see if this is true or not, we see and render it that is true, because it is the spiral, the vortex, that creates the corporeal world, which is the central sun. See that? You cannot have a world without the vortex first. So the Owaspy is showing and proving through science that, nigga, this shit is real. Ain't no fairy tales over here. It's a blood clot vibes. Let me fix my screen up. Seeing? Yes, family. We still here at it. Back at it. Let me get this right here, yeah? He's frozen. Give me a 1 in the chat if you can still hear me. Let me see if I could unfreeze myself. Or get some vibes going while I get this thing in order. It's a blood clot vibe. Yes, family. You can still hear the hydrant. You know how we do. You know how we do. Some of these getting the clicking again. Give me a 1 in the chat if you get this understanding, family. Give me a 1 in the chat if you're getting this understanding. It's kind of a jury day, so it may be interfering with the internet. We're showing and proving how creator create worlds, you dig? Give me 1 second, family. Let me go fetch for a lighter real quick, yeah? But until then, let's vibes. Hold on. Let me get down the cosmos. We back at it, family. We back at it, family. Hey, what up, China? I'm gonna see the elder in the building. Peace to the queen, the elder goddess. You know what I mean? Whatever she say goes. That's the rules. If you notice, in the Owaspy, once you form a community in a small village, the elder has the chief say so. So, say if China was the elder in the organization, and we have to have an agreement about something, and everybody get a opinion. Whatever she say, based off what everybody states, she gives the final say so, and bam, nigga, that's what it is. No more discussion. So the elders always got the final say so. You know how we do. We're gonna keep the tradition alive. Tequila, what's good? What you smoking on, Tequila? What we smoking on? I think it's time to roll up another. It's a blood clot vibes. Create a gang in the building. You know how we do. What up, Create a gang? We keep this thing moving. Today is a beautiful day. You know what I mean? Jaja is with the living. Cause it's a vibe. If I meditate on Jah earth, yes. All praise to the Creator. Protection and guidance to all the people in the world. Hopefully they can get it right. Rise to the Almighty Creator. As I'm saying this, the sunlight breaking through the clouds. It's the vibes. I'm smoking Sour Jack. That's what we're smoking on, DZ. We smoking on some Sour Jack. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, family. Yeah, have a nice little nugget. See that? Have a nice little nugget, yeah? Can't go wrong with the herbs, yeah? Even the drudges are enjoying this. It's a vibe. You know how we do. You know how we do. We put it in the air. Peace to the faithless, peace, beloved. The faithless out here enjoying themselves. You know what I mean? Let no man dictate to another. Let every man and woman work out their own doings with the Creator. And understanding everybody else about excellence. You got some of that white widow? That's what we dealing with? We dealing with some of that widow? Boy, I can imagine. Can you imagine if we was together having a smoke session on the Owaspy? Nigga, 3 days ago by. We probably wouldn't even know it. That's how good the bill would be. And that's just the bill that alone, niggas start putting in some actual work. You dig? It's the vibe. Shout out to all my smokers in the building. And that's what we do. We burn it down over here. You know, I know some Israelites there against the smoking. I ain't mad at you. But over here, nigga, we burn it down. You know what I'm saying? Same way we don't eat lamb and lamb meat. Y'all do. Ain't mad at you. We ain't rocking with that over here. Keep your lamb's breath over there. And they actually got some weed called lamb's breath. We vibing out, family. We just vibing. You know what? I'm gonna bring an invitation to these folks' gods. We forgot. Let's bring it, family.
Chestnuts roasting
Okay, you thought I forgot?
on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Come on, family. It's
Chestnuts
holiday season, man. Go get your
roasting
chestnuts,
on
go
an
get your
open
marshmallows.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
We gonna eat
Chestnuts
marshmallows and
roasting
chestnuts
on an
while the
open
folks gods is
fire.
That's where
roasting.
you headed, boy. to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open
Don't
fire.
forget,
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
it's holiday season, family, and niggas is headed to pine oil heaven if they don't fucking get it right. Let's help try to avoid our brothers and sisters to go into pine oil heaven. Because ignorantly enough, they don't know that's where they headed. Niggas is headed to pine oil heaven. Ain't none with that one. I'm gonna bring that one back. That shit give me that pine oil heaven give me the holiday feeling, yo. I feel like I'm in the holiday spirit when I hear the pine oil. Matter of fact, let's bring the pine oil heaven song back. That should give me the holiday spirit.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy,
Give me a
to
cup of tea and
pine
go to the
oil
goddamn
heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open
shit
fire.
right
Where you
there.
headed, boy, to pine
Come on,
oil
everybody
heaven.
get in the holiday
Chestnuts
spirit. We in December, nigga.
roasting
Christmas
on an
around the
open
corner.
fire.
That's
And
where
these
you
when these
headed, boy,
drug users about to
to
go
pine
crazy.
oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting
When we
on
go
an
deliver
open
the false gods,
fire.
yo,
That's
we
where
gonna
you
have to
headed,
play
boy,
the song for these
to
niggas, man.
pine oil heaven.
We gotta play the pine oil heaven song for these niggas when we going to deliver these niggas out of hell. It's a blood clot vibes. Now, y'all can't tell me that y'all don't get the holiday spirit. Y'all be some lying motherfuckers if y'all don't get the holiday spirit when this shit come on right here.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts
You
roasting
can't deny
on
that
an open
spirit.
fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open
Oh man, y'all
fire.
can't deny the chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Like that shit don't give you the holiday spirit. You know what I mean? The Georgian spirit, the spirit of Satan's claws. I would like to know. Y'all know I'm wild. Y'all know y'all getting that holiday spirit when y'all hear that shit. It's not fun. But see, we trying to help y'all niggas, man, these false God followers, man. The end, the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth followers. We trying to help y'all out, man. We trying to avoid you niggas from being cast in hell. Let me let you niggas know what the hell is like. It's a blood clot vibe. Niggas rather go to suffocating hells for their false God. Vibing out right now. 2:13:12. Let's find that. 2:13:12, but not. Yeah, we're gonna read these goddamn knots. These hells and these knots. blood clot vibes. Goddamn, bro. I'm sitting here just looking for this verse. Fuck the one that got the reading one verse and got locked in for a minute. Like, shit, hold on. I'm supposed to be vibing with y'all. I done got locked in reading this motherfucker. 2:15:22. Book of Fraggle Patty. 38:22. Let's go to Fraggle Patty 38:22. Hit some blood clot vibes. Okay. It's a vibes. Wow. It's a blood clot vibes. Man, this is wild. But if I come back to that verse, yeah. We over here playing some music over there across the park. What you saying, family? Large up yourself, big up yourself, yeah. It's a blood clot vibes, you done no king. But now I was just about to look for the verse where they talk about these hells and the Owaspy, these suffocating hells, these knots that you don't want to get your ass caught up in. All these false gods ended up in goddamn knots and hells. And you don't want to be the one, like, for example, look at Nathaniel. Look how large his organization is. And them niggas is under the precept of a false god. You know what I mean? So you got to correct all those follows, like Cosmo was saying earlier when we was building. It goes like when them false gods fall and they got to be reinstated, they got to go right back to their kingdom that they left. And them niggas be like, nah, anything but that. Yeah, the niggas you misled, you got to correct. That's why I'm glad I ain't got no goddamn followers. Or being a leader of men. That nigga Nathaniel, that boy prideful. That boy got pride in his heart. I've been listening to him talk. I'm like, damn. I said, bring that nigga here. I'll debate that nigga. I'll put that nigga to sleep. What's that, the IUIC? Tell them boys. Tell a head honcho, Nathaniel, to come up against this Owaspy chapter and verse. And let's see the pride come out. Let's see the drudges waking up in that man when we start exposing that his biblical God is not the creator. Some niggas have a hard time accepting that reality, but I don't give a damn. Nigga, I'm a body blow you, I'm a knee blow you, I'm a uppercut you, I'm gonna knock you unconscious until you get that ideology out your head. That ideology out your head. Because if we don't do it to you, your own people gonna do it to you. Mm-hmm. Your own people gonna do it to you. Your own people gonna give you body blows. Suffocating hells is what your people gonna give you. Enemy shall take enemy, and these might bound heavens. That's where you niggas is headed. Pine oil heaven. If you niggas don't get it right, man. They playing some music. Hold on, let me crack open my patio. I hear that reggae music coming from the park. I need to get some of that. Booyaka! Them I play rhythm. You must got some shit going on at the park. Every time I hear the reggae coming from the park, I'm like, all right, time to roll up and see what's going on at the park. Maybe having soccer games over there. You know what I mean? Caribbean vibes, yeah? But don't let these gods go get you locked up in knots. Nathaniel, look at the organization. Zabak, yeah, I'm calling you niggas by names. Zabak be on the corner every week for year in, year out, promoting Lou amongst doctrine, promoting the doctrine of the false god. It ain't like when we went outside of the TV and called out niggas out, them niggas ain't step up to the plate. Went outside there and showed about, what was that? Who was God and Satan, one of the same or whatever. Then we did the colonizers. We did all that. Ain't none of them niggas stepped to the plate. Them niggas came with a whole bunch of rah-rah and a whole bunch of gossip. But ain't none of them niggas step to the plate and be like, I'll challenge you chapter and verse against your Owaspy Bible to prove that my God of my Bible is greater than your God. Ain't nobody do that. Cesaria got the biggest mouth, and he ain't even challenged the text. Weak ass niggas, man. 261. So we're going to go to the Book of Divinity, chapter 18, verse 21. Book of Divinity, chapter 18, verse 21. Book of Divinity, chapter 18, verse 21. Where we at with it? Book of Divinity, 18. Where we're 18 at? Where's she going? 18. Verse 21. Here we go. Book of Divinity, chapter 18, verse 21, it states, prior to the submerge of Pan, commonly called the flood, more than half the people entering the first spirit world, east world, went into hell and knots. And in all ages of the world, there have been thousands and millions of spirits who delight in hell for certain seasons, even as the same tendency is manifested in mortals who delight in debauchery, vengeance, and war. Nor is hell. Here's the catcher right here. Here's the goddamn catcher. Nor is hell very different as to spirit from what war is among mortals. This is hell they're talking about. No, let's do something here. You know me, I'm surgical with this bitch, Jake. Now we're going to go to the God of War. Let's go to the God of War for a minute. What chapter and verse is that in the Bible where God is God? Exodus 15:3. Let's go to that. Exodus 15:3. Exodus 15:3. Right here. Look at this. Exodus 15:3 states, the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name, right? But then in the Owaspy it states, nor is a hell very different as to spirit from what War is among mortals. So when the Owaspi is telling us that war is in reference and synonymous with hell, why your God is the God of hell, because he's a God of war. If the Lord is a man of war, and the Owaspi is telling you that hell is not too different than from what war is among angels, what is your God doing being a God of war? He's a God of hell. Because hell is synonymous with war, and war is synonymous with hell. And what does it say right here? And as mortals of this day glorify themselves, their generals and captains. When they got General General Yohana, Captain Tazaria. Look how they got generals and captains in the Owaspi, like it's calling you niggas out. And as mortals of this day glorify themselves, their generals and their captains, for what? For the magnitude of their havoc in war. Huh? And as mortal of this day, and if mortals of this day glorify themselves, their generals and their captains, for the magnitude of the havoc of war. And the Lord is a man of war. Huh? They glorify themselves, their generals and their captains, for the magnitude of their havoc in war. Huh? What does it say here? So in the ancient times, atmospheria, there were great boasting and laudation for those who inflict the greatest torment and horrors in hell. Now, if your God is a goddamn God of war, he's a God of hell. Casting the souls in hell. If he's a God of war, if he's telling you niggas to go kill off the Canaanites, if he's telling you to go kill off the Benjamites, if he's telling you to go kill off the house of Israel, he's a God of hell. That's what your God is, a God of hell. So in ancient times, in atmospheria, there were great boasting and laudation for those who inflict the greatest torment and hells and horrors and hells. Shit fucked up, yo. As mortals of the drunk order often leave their evil ways for a season and become upright and virtuous, loving and decent and righteous, and then break away, indulge in a season of debauchery. Look what it states here. So has it been in the spirit world with millions and billions of angels. In one day, the teachers and physicians were rejoicing before Jehovah because of the steadfastness of their wards towards righteousness. See that? Just like us now, we're trying to strive to be righteous and, boom, boom, boom. But then look at what happened. And then the next day, we're left to deplore the loss of hundreds and thousands who had broke faith and gone off for indulgence sake into some of the hells. Remember, your God is a God of war, a God of hell. And these had to be rescued, persuaded, threatened, and coaxed back again to the nurses and hospitals. Look, this just said threaten. We're going to threaten your ass. If you don't get your ass back over here, niggas. So this is going on, but your God is a God of war. He's a God of destruction. Your God got you over there killing off the Benjamites like it's fucking play. God got these niggas killing niggas off like play. What that verse where they consulted? They consulted with God, the God of war. See, the God of war don't give a damn about you, Israel. If the God of war gave a damn about you, he wouldn't have had the house of Benjamin and the house of Israel golden at each other. Like right here. See this? This is the God of war in Judges 10:20-18. And the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God and asked counsel of God and said, which of us shall go first to battle against the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up first. The Lord said that Judah shall go up first to go battle against Benjamin. Civil war. Benjamin defeated. Consulted by the God. So this is why we telling you niggas. This is why we keep telling you this is where you headed.
Headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
We trying to get you to understand
Chestnuts roasting
that Pine Sol
on an
Heaven
open fire.
is where you headed because of your
To
God.
pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts
Think about it now.
roasting on an
Pause
open
this.
fire.
Think about it. What we just showed you right here. Let's be really fucking holistic, goddammit. In this breath, it says the children of Israel rose and went up to the house of God and asked counsel of God and said, which of us shall go up first to do the battle against the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah shall go first. Fuck all that. Let's go back over here. Y'all gonna have to deal with this goddamn cussing because this shit is gonna be way more worse your ass cast in a lake of fire than you worrying about me cussing, right? The Lord is a man of war. No, where the Lord said, where thou shalt not kill. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Like I did last time. Yeah. Thou shalt not kill verse. Thou shalt not kill. I remember somebody was like, nah, it's thou. I'm like, man, you know what the fuck I mean when I say that shit. Don't try to get all correct English on me. 2013, let's get it. 2013. Right there. Thou shalt not kill. Right? So you got all this going on right here. First you got thou shalt not kill. Then you got the nigga being a man of war. Then you got his ass lying, talking about thou shalt not kill, but he's telling the house of Israel to send up the tribe of Judah first to go kill the Benjamites. But he stayed ahead, thou shalt not kill. And he's talking to Israel. So it's thou shalt not kill, right? So what happens? Let's read again. And the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God and asked counsel of God and said, which of us shall go up first to the battle against the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up first. Let's read on. And the children of Israel rose up in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. Now keep in mind they're doing this because the Lord said so. Because remember, the Lord said Judah shall go up first. So now it's in the morning time, they're going to do what the Lord said. And the men of Israel went out to battle against Benjamin, their brother. And the men of Israel put themselves in array to fight against them at Gibeah. The children of Benjamin came forth out of Gibeah and destroyed down to the ground of the Israelites that day 2,000 men. So they went to war. And it says, and the children of Benjamin came forth out of Gibeah and destroyed down to the ground of the Israelites that day 22,000 men. Look at that. That's how many niggas fell. But at the same time, thou shalt not murder. But this how many fell. 22,000 men. And what happened? And the men of Israel encouraged themselves and set their battle again in array in the place where they put themselves in array the first day. And keep in mind, the Lord told them niggas to do that, and the Lord didn't even come through for these niggas. Because keep in mind, the Lord, they asked, it said here, it says, and asked counsel and said, which one shall go first to do battle? And the Lord said, Judah, right there. Judah shall go first. And when they sent the men of Israel out, 22,000 men got slain. And then it states here, and the children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord unto evening. Them niggas weep because it's like, nigga, you lied. You said you was going to be with us. And asked counsel of the Lord. They asking again, saying, shall I go up again to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother? And the Lord said, go up against them. Come on. He's telling you to go up against them, but then he states here, thou shalt not murder. This is Israel among Israel, and in the house of Israel. When you hear Israelites say, well, thou shalt not murder and thou shalt not kill, was talking about Israelites, but any other nations could get killed, or any other nations could get murdered, but not the house of Israel. But here we have within the goddamn house of Israel, Judah and Benjamin and the house of Israel going crazy, killing each other. And God is the goddamn instigator here. Your false God is the instigator. That's why we're trying to tell you, and we're warning you, that this is going to be your reality.
To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
That's what we're trying to avoid for you niggas. We're trying to avoid pine oil heaven because Benjamin, Judah, and the house of Israel are all in pine oil heaven, including their God, for disrespecting the Creator by engaging in war on that scale. Thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not kill, but your God has got Judah, Benjamin, and the house of Israel killing each other by the thousands. What are we talking about here? Like Malachi, what are we talking about here? So check this shit out. More destruction for these niggas. More destruction and death for these niggas. Look, and the children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until evening and asked counsel of the Lord, saying, shall I go up again to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother? And the Lord said, go up against them. So he's with the bullshit. The Lord is playing the goddamn devil's advocate. Because instead of the Lord saying, you know when it states right here? When he says, shall I go up against to battle, shall I go up again against to battle against my brother or whatever? When he said that, and the Lord said, and it states, and the Lord said, he should have said, thou shalt not kill. It should have said, and the Lord said, thou shalt not kill. But instead it said, the Lord said, go up against them. Come on now, let's make this make sense. Why didn't the Lord say, thou shalt not kill? But instead, the Lord said, I'm a God of war, nigga. Let's go kill these niggas. The children of Israel, knowing no better, following a fake, false-ass God, came there again against the children of Benjamin the second day. So the Lord, wasn't with them the first day. They got slaughtered. And Benjamin went forth against them out of Gibeah the second day and destroyed down to the ground of the children of Israel again 18,000 men. All these drew the sword. Now the Lord told these niggas to go to war again, and they took another L. This time they took 18,000. Men fell. This is, the Lord is a man of war. Your God is a man of war. And he got niggas falling by the thousands over here. But then over here, he's telling you, thou shalt not kill. But over here, 18 niggas just got killed. 18,000 niggas just got killed under his command. The same one who said, thou shalt not kill. This is why we're telling you niggas, if you keep following this biblical God, your ass is going to pine oil heaven. You go into pine oil heaven, nuts roasted on an open fire. Then all the children of Israel and all the people went up and came unto the house of God. This is the second and third time these niggas coming to God after taking the L from the word of God. God said, yo, go up there. I got you. Can you imagine God telling you, I got your back, and then you lose? How can you lose with God on your side? And I ain't talking about wishful thinking. These niggas went to the house of God and God spoke to these niggas back, said, yeah, go ahead. I got you. You know how strong your confidence would be if God told you I got you? And these niggas still lost. What kind of shit is that? Then all the children of Israel and all the people went up and came unto the house of God and wept and sat there before the Lord and fastened that day unto even and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. So now they doing all this extra shit because they done took 2 L's. I would have left that Lord alone and said, nah, this nigga ain't working. There's another Lord somewhere over here in another town maybe that may be more effective. Let me go to that Lord. So these niggas doing all this shit after taking 2 L's. And the children of Israel inquired of the Lord. For the ark of the covenant, God was there in those days. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, stood before it in those days, saying, Shall I yet again go out to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother, or shall I cease? The Lord said, Go up, for tomorrow I will deliver them into thy hands. Look at that. The Lord is telling you he's going to deliver them into thy hands. What that means? He going to slay them niggas for you. You going to win the battle this time. But this is the same one who says he's going to deliver them into your hands, is the same one who said, Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Where this guy at? What happened? Why would he go from telling his children this to now telling his children this? I will deliver them into thy hands. Y'all better wake up before your ass get cast in the pine oil heaven. And Israel set liars in wait around about Gibeah. And the children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin on the 3rd day and put themselves in array against Gibeah as at other times. And the children of Benjamin went out against the people and were drawn away from the city, and they began to smite of the people and kill, as to other times in the highways, of which one goes up to the house of God, and the other to Gibeah in the field, about 30 men. Now look what they're doing. Look what it says. It says, and the children of Benjamin went out against the people and were drawn away from the city. And what did they do? And they began to, what? And they began to smite. They began to smite of the people and kill. This is what they're doing. But this is the same influence coming from their God. So if they're doing this, smiting and killing, what is the spiritual condition? Let's go to your waspy. We keep it simple around here. Precept upon precept here, a little there, a little, but we keep it simple. I don't got to get complex. I keep it simple and direct and dagger your heart to death. What it states right here? Book of Jehovah, chapter 8, verse 6. And mortals slain in war shall be born in spirit in the chaos on the battlefield and enter the spirit world in chaos. They shall not know that they are dead as to earth life, but they shall still keep fighting right and left. Key point. And mortals slain in war shall be born in spirit and chaos on the battlefield. All right, that's what's going on. What they doing here? And they began to smite of the people and kill. What is their spiritual condition? And mortals slain in war shall be born in spirit in the chaos on the battlefield. The Lord is a man of war. So if the Lord is a man of war, the Lord is producing on the battlefield mortals slain in war who will be born in spirit in chaos on the battlefield. Although this is the same Lord who said, Thou shalt not kill. If you didn't kill, Lord, if you didn't inspire the children of the house of Israel, if you didn't inspire the house of Benjamin, if you didn't inspire the house of Judah not to kill, we would be facing these spiritual conditions right here. Spirits born in chaos on the battlefield. But instead, your false God assumed to be a man of war, and being a man of war inspired mortals to do what? And they began to smite the people and kill. And by smiting the people and killing them spiritually, you're producing spirits in chaos. This is why we say, your ass gonna be over here doing this. This is why we say that.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting
Take a
on an
moment of
open
silence for the false gods
fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting
Take a
on an
moment.
open fire.
That's where you
Take a
headed,
moment.
boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Take a
That's where
moment.
you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
If niggas don't get it right, they fucking going to pine oil heaven. And that's all we saying, man. Get your shit right with these fake ass gods. So again, it states, and the children of Benjamin went out against the people and were drawn away from the city, and they began to smite of the people and kill, as at other times in the highways, of which one goes up to the house of God, and the other to Gibeah in the fields, about 30 men of Israel. And the children of Benjamin said, they are smitten down before us, as at the first. Look at that. These niggas got bodies on them. Like, yeah, man, look, they smitten. We're going to slaughter these niggas like the first time. But the children of Israel said, let us flee and draw them from the city unto the highways. So while the rest survivors, they say, yo, let us flee, and they going to follow us. Look at the shit going on. This is, now keep in mind, ain't no Edomites over here. Ain't no Canaanites involved in this. Ain't no Edomites involved in this. Ain't no Amorites involved in this. This is the tribe of Benjamin going against the house of Israel, including Judah. And all the men of Israel rose up out of their place and put themselves in array at Baal Tamar. And the layers in wait of Israel came forth out of their places, even out of their meadows of Gibeah. And there came against Gibeah 10,000 chosen men out of all Israel. And the battle was sore, but they knew not that all evil was near them. And the Lord, and the Lord smote Benjamin before Israel. Israel had to get slaughtered 2 days straight before the Lord himself smote Benjamin. Keep in mind, look, the Lord is a man of war. The Lord smote Benjamin before Israel. Shouldn't that say the Lord smote Esau before Edom or some shit like that? Why is the Lord destroying Israel and not destroying Esau if Esau the goddamn devil? But again, the Lord smote Benjamin before Israel. The Lord is a man of war, but at the same time, thou shalt not kill. So the Lord is going against his word, thou shalt not kill. Israel is going against their word, inspired by their God, their Lord, to kill. So you got Benjamin and the house of Israel killing each other. And then you got the Lord participating in the killing by smoting Benjamin before Israel. Where's Satan at? And the Lord smote Benjamin before Israel, and the children of Israel destroyed of the Benjamites that day 25,100 men. All these drew the sword. This is how many people died in a day with the Lord and with Israel and the Lord being on the same team. 25,100. That's how many people croaked that day. And you ain't lying. Your God is definitely a fucking God of destruction and death. So keep in mind, he's a God of war. And that day, he smote Benjamin, and it was 25,100 men that died. And these are the spiritual conditions of those men. And mortals slain in war shall be born into spirit and chaos on the battlefield. That's their spiritual condition, chaos. And then look what it states in the realm. Enemy shall take enemy in these heavens and cast them in places of torment, which they have built, and they shall know no peace, no wisdom. This is the spiritual condition of those 25,000 souls that the Lord smote, that the Lord didn't tell you about these spiritual conditions. These are false gods assuming to be the Most High, and it states it here. The angels under you shall become at times rebellious and defiant, disregarding your laws and decree, and they shall desert your heavenly places and go down to the earth in millions and hundreds of millions. These fallen angels is this same false God in your Bible. Is this God. This Lord who inspiring the smoting of goddamn Benjamin right here, and the Lord smote Benjamin, that Lord is a part of his fallen angels right here. It says, and the angels, lords, gods, under you, shall become at times rebellious and defiant, disregarding your laws and decrees. What are the laws and decrees, nigga? Thou shalt not kill. That's the law and decree. But what did your false gods do instead? It says they shall disregard your laws and decrees, and they shall desert your heavenly places, go down to the earth in millions and hundreds of millions, and they shall drive away the guardian angels and then assume guardianship over mortals. That's the key right there. It says, and they shall drive away the guardianship, the Ishars, and assume guardianship over mortals. So by these falling angels assuming guardianship over mortals, that's how the angels are able to go out here and what? Do destruction. The children of Israel destroyed Benjamin. They're physically going to war, being inspired by who? The Lord. What did it state in the Oaspi? And they shall drive away the Ashars, guardian angels, and then assume guardianship over mortals. How do we know that they're inspiring mortals? Right here. But they shall develop no righteousness under the sun, and they shall inspire what? Mortals to war and destructions. What they shall do? They will what? They will inspire mortals to war and destruction. What the hell you got going on in Judges? Huh? What is the Lord doing? Is not he smote Benjamin inspiring war? What did children of Israel do? And the Lord smote Benjamin before Israel. And the children of Israel destroyed of the Benjamites that day 25,100 men. And they all drew the sword. How did that take place? Because your fallen God, your fallen angel, who you thought was the creator, assumed guardianship over you, and they will inspire mortals to war and destruction. Huh? And what does it state here? And these angels themselves will take to war and evil throughout the place of your heavens. Your Bible ain't tell you that part. While you reading this in the Bible about the Lord smoting Benjamin, on the flip side, amongst the lords, they didn't tell you that these angels themselves are taking the war and evil throughout the place of your heavens. That's why your God said you shall worship no other gods but me, because there are other gods out there. And you could go to war with these gods at certain times. So the Lord is a man of war. He's a man of hell and destruction. Although he came with thou shalt not kill. Ain't nothing else to talk about. Them niggas heading right fucking here.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
That's exactly where niggas is going to be headed, to pine oil heaven. Look at Nathaniel and his army of IUIC. Look how many people he following. And they following that same God that got the Benjamites in the house of Israel destroying each other, conspired by the Lord. Look at IUIC. Look at IUICP. What's that? General Yohana and them boys, Tazari Yakin. Look how big their organization is. Look at Zabak organization. Look at GOCC, the Gathering of Christ. Look how many Israelite groups are under the banner of this false God, assuming to be the creator. Look at the redemptive works on these niggas' shoulders. Look at the bondage of Nathaniel. Nathaniel got hundreds of thousands of followers following him under the banner of the Bible, and the Bible is inspired by a false god. That's why we need to have these goddamn debates of the Holy Book. Because look how many souls is being misled by these false gods under the ignorance of these leaders. And we just read you the spiritual condition of those cast in hell by either engaging in war, or even if you don't engage in war, when you cross over, you become a subservient slave to these false gods, building up their heavenly kingdoms. No different than we were slaves building up railroad tracks across the east and west of America, north and south. If it ain't wartime, nigga, your ass gonna be in them cotton fields, nigga. But if it's wartime, you're gonna armor up and your ass gonna go to war, spiritually speaking. After your ass that lost the battle on earth. That's where these niggas is headed. We trying to avoid you niggas from this.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil.
Them cants, if they don't get it right, they headed to pine oil heaven. That's why we screaming out these debates. These debates ain't about nothing more than information and clarity. Y'all niggas worrying about the white man. Y'all niggas worrying about the book being written in 1881. Y'all making fun of the book being a comic book. But you niggas not realizing your ass is heading to Hades, nigga. You heading to Haiti. What is the end game of the Bible, bitch? Let's go to the end game of the Bible. Revelations. Let's go to it. Watch this. Look at their end game. You want to talk about end games? We want to talk about the Bible being the final and only revelation, and that's the end game? Nigga, this is your end game right here. Let's go to Revelations. Let's go to Revelations. Let me do this right. Let me let the music play. Matter of fact, let these niggas roast under an open fire while I get this shit together real quick. Let these niggas roast.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
And that's exactly where these niggas is headed. To pine oil goddamn heaven if they don't get it right. And I'm about to put together these couple of precepts to show you that even the end game for the Bible is fucked up. Y'all niggas ain't escaping shit. Y'all end game is fuck up. I'm like, damn, nigga, I'm glad I woke up out of this bullshit. Because your end game compared to our end game, nigga, it's not even a comparison. It's an embarrassment. Because you niggas is going to be what? What they going to be doing?
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
So keep telling these niggas, man. Let your people know they better get it right. Because if not, it's pine oil heaven where these niggas is heading. And I know niggas don't want to go to pine oil heaven. Because it stinks in pine oil heaven. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. All right, so check this, right? Let's do this. Let's do uno blood clot this. Uno blood clot this, man, if I did do it. So we're going to go into the Bible for a minute, right? Y'all rocking with me? Give me a one in the chat if you get this understanding. Give me a one in the chat if you still rocking with me before I move forward. Let me take a sip of thing. Let me take a sip of thing before I'm going to take a spliff of thing. Let me take a sip of thing before the hydrant take a spliff of thing, yeah? See the ones coming in. All right, so check it. Let's get to it. Now, the end game for us is Ethereum, right? Hold on. Let me get our end game first. Get that out the way. You know how we dizzle. So for those who follow Owaspy, spiritual concept, let me show you our end game real quick fast. Yahuwah said, I created the earth and fashioned it and placed it in the firmament, and by my presence brought man forth a living being and gave him a corporeal body so that he could learn corporeal things, and I made death so that he could rise in the firmament and inherit my Etherian world. So our end game is the Etherian worlds. That's where we headed. In the Bible, the New Jerusalem is going to be coming down out of heaven to the earth, and the end game for them is going to be on the earth. Our end game is going to be to what? Inherit the Etherian worlds. Inherit. What does inherit means? Inherit, receive, property, money, a title, as an heir at the death of a previous holder. So to receive property is something that is given. The Creator has given us an inheritance, a property, something for us to have called the Etherian worlds. What is the Etherian worlds? When we scoot down to verse 6, it states, in the all highest places I created the Etherian worlds. So the Etherian world is a place located in the all highest places. We're not staying on earth. We go into the all highest places while your New Jerusalem is coming to the earth. And then what it states here, it says, I made them of all shapes and sizes, similar to my corporeal world. So they're similar to the worlds like us, but they got different shapes, different sizes. But then look what it states. He says, I made them inhabitable within and without, with entrance and exit, arches and curves, thousands of miles high and wide. See that? It's describing you the Etherian worlds, similar to our earth, but it has entrances and exits and arches and curves thousands of miles high. And then it states, look, in colors, movable chisels and mountains in endless chains and brilliance. We ain't never seen no shit like this. But this is the inheritance that the Creator said is for you. But you want to remain on earth in the New Jerusalem, remaining in the bird's nest. While the Creator is showing you that this is what I have in store for you when you rise after death and come into these realms. And then it states, and over them I ruled with all perfect mechanism. They perfect up there. Ain't no fucking ups. It says, to them I gave motion, orbits, and a course of their own. And I made them independent and above all other worlds of potency and majesty. Now, this is the key point right here. Above all other worlds in potency and majesty. That means this is above your Jerusalem. This is above the earth plane. This is the Etherian realm that they're talking about, that is an inheritance to us given by our Creator. That's our end game. What is yours? Let's go to yours. This is the biblical end game. Now, when we go to Revelations, right? Revelations 19 talk about the second coming, when he destroys the beast. So let's scope down and go to right here. Let's start from here. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophets that wrought miracles before him, in which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire, burning with brimstone. So right here, they're telling you that these people are burning in a lake of fire and brimstone. And this is Revelation chapter 19, verse 20 and 21 I'm reading. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls and filled with their flesh. So this is what I'm reading, the second coming and the destruction of the nations and how they're being cast into a lake of fire. That's Revelation chapter 19. Now let's go to Revelation chapter 20. Chapter 20 states, and I saw an angel come down out of heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. So Satan is bound for 1,000 years here. And it cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosened for a little season. So the nigga sealed for 1,000 years. This is the end game of the Bible. We read our end game. We up out of here. But this is the biblical end game. And I saw a throne, and they sat upon them. And I saw a throne, and they sat upon them, and the judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yeshua, or Jesus, and the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. So again, they talking about these niggas reigning with Christ for 1,000 years. Okay, all this is going on, right? But the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Okay, so let's keep it moving. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection, on which the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests and gods in Christ, who shall reign with him 1,000 years. So they're talking about 1,000-year reign, those who's going to rise with the Messiah, Christ, and those who ain't. Basically, is what they're saying. Now, look, when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosened out of his prison. So after you done reign with the Messiah for 1,000 years, Satan is back. Hello. And shall go out and deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, which is Russia, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom as the sand of the sea. So they're talking about warfare. We read the spiritual description of what goes on in the war. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camps of the saints about, and the beloved city, and fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. That's supposed to be when they're supposed to surround Jerusalem, whatever, and God destroy the nations. See, I had all these ideologies and concepts years ago. I knew this shit. And the devil that deceived them was cast into a lake of fire and brimstones, where the beast and the false prophets are, and they shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. So now, these niggas got thrown into the lake of fire. There's a stated here, right there. And the devil that deceived them was cast into a lake of fire and brimstone. So it's letting you know, after the 1,000-year reign, the devil gonna deceive niggas, and he gonna be cast in the lake of fire. All the false prophets and all the miracle workers, they gonna be all thrown in there. This is how it's playing out now. Let's go to verse 21. Verse 11. And look, and I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heavens fled away, and there was found no place for them. So after the lake of fire and all that going on, earth and heaven fled away. I'm just reading how it's playing out. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open, and another book was open, which was the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the book according to their works. Follow the line. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in it, and they were judged, every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. All right, so we had the first lake of fire, niggas got thrown in there, the devil and them got thrown in there. Now you got death and hell getting thrown in there. I'm just going by what the book say. I'm not adding my own understanding or nothing. I'm reading it for what it is. And then it states, and whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. So what I'm showing you is that the whole concept of the lake of fire is manifesting right now. Now, when we go to the next chapter, this is after the lake of fire now. This is after the lake of fire. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there were no more seas. So he's describing you, it's a whole new realm, a whole new planet. The former things have passed away. The hells, the Satans, the lake of fire, all that shit has passed away. That's what he's telling you in this verse. Let's read it again. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, the bird's nest, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her bridegroom. So after all this takes place, John is seeing the New Jerusalem coming down from heaven with God in it. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. Look what it states. This is a key point. It said, God himself shall be with them. Remember, God is an angel. And keep in mind, this is what? This is the holy city, New Jerusalem. That's what we're dealing with. That's what's coming down out of heaven. A city named Jerusalem. And within this city named Jerusalem, God himself shall be with them. So God is confined within this New Jerusalem. Although he's supposed to be omnipresent, everywhere present, but he's confined in this city called Jerusalem. So if he's within this city called Jerusalem, a city has to have rules. It has to have governorship. God is an angel who's going to be ruling this city called Jerusalem. Let's go to 20. Let's go to 4. And God shall wipe away all the tears, and their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. So they let you know the former things are passed away, right? Listen carefully. And he that sat on the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, it is done. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending. I will give unto him that is athirst a fountain of water of life freely. So now, watch this. He that overcomes shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and adulterers and all liars shall have their part in the lake of fire, which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Now, we just described earlier the two deaths. So now he's describing like, all these people is going to be burning in this lake of fire. So now, check it. There came unto me one of the seven angels which had the seven vials full of the seven last plagues, and talked with me, saying, come hither, and I will show thee the bride of the Lamb, the Lamb's wife. So at this point, it just goes into the description of the New Jerusalem, right? That's what it's just breaking down the description of the temple. But now let's go to the chapter. Now let's go to Revelations chapter 22. Last chapter of the book, right? So again, it states, I am the Alpha. He says, I am the Alpha Omega, the beginning and ending, the first and the last. Now, I already showed you who was the first and the last. Creator. Any nigga claiming to be first and the last is the blasphemer and the liar before creator. So this false Christ, Luama, assuming to be the creator, is telling niggas he the Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. But look what it states. Blessed are they that do his commandment, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. What are the gates they talking about? When I was referring here. See that? It said, and the gates of it shall not be shut all by day, for there shall be no night. So they're talking about the gates that they're talking about is the gate of the kingdom. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it was transparent glass. See that? They're describing you the kingdom with gates. So coming back to 22, what it states? Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and they may enter in through the gates into the city. Talking about the New Jerusalem. But then it states here, for without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and adulterers, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. So these are the people that are outside the gate of the kingdom. This is the end game for those who believe in the Bible, that the New Jerusalem is going to come down from the earth. If you're righteous, you're going to enter in the kingdom, but without the kingdom, the thing that's going to be going outside the kingdom is what we just read. For without, meaning for outside the kingdom, are dogs, sorcerers, whoremongers, murderers, adulterers, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. So even when the New Jerusalem is established, these things will still be going on. You will still have murderers. You will still have adulterers. You will still have liars. You will still have sorcerers. You will still have whoremongers. All these things will be going on while the New Jerusalem has been established. The first earth and the first heaven are passed away. The former things are passed away. So within the new kingdom, you still have these things going on as a burden surrounding the kingdom. While in the Owaspy, we up out of here. We ain't got to worry about these issues because we go into the Etherian realms. We go into where? Above all other worlds in potency and majesty. Huh? He's talking about that ether. That's where we headed. We go into the Etherian realms. What did he say up here? What judge y'all saying too? What judge y'all say right here? I made death so that man can rise in the firmament and inherit my Etherian worlds. We go into the Etherian worlds. While we in the Etherian worlds, you're gonna be right here. You're gonna be right here, surrounded with goddamn whoremongers and murderers and all type of goddamn wickedness. Although the kingdom is established on earth, but we up and out, nigga. We into the Etherian worlds, and according to the Owaspy, the Etherian worlds is what? It's what? It's the all highest. It's the all highest places he created the Etherian worlds. So we're going to be far removed from whoremongers, murderers, and liars. The all highest. Huh? And it's the all perfect. Everything is perfect there. Perfected. Just like how the sun, moon, and stars run its course, perfected. And then it states, above all other worlds in potency and majesty. That's where we headed. Ain't no whoremongers and murderers around here. Ain't no whoremongers and murderers and killers and liars around here. In them ethers, we headed to them ethers. So y'all niggas can have your New Jerusalem, where you're gonna be surrounded with goddamn whoremongers and murderers, as it states in your book. While in our book, we up and out, we ascending off the planet. We headed to them ethers. We up and out. Good night. While we up in them ethers, you niggas gonna be right here.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
And that's exactly where these niggas is headed, to pine oil heaven, if they don't get it right, brothers and sisters. It's the blood clot vibes. Exactly. Good question, set apart. Imam. If all things are made anew, why is evil still present according to that Bible verse? See that? False pens of the scribes, them niggas ain't know what they was putting together. They just putting the shit together and said, oh, we got the Torah. We got the Tanakh. Here it is. That shit ain't even making sense. All things are renewed, but you still got whoremongers and sorcerers outside the kingdom. Where them niggas came from? I thought they supposed to be in the lake of fire. See that? Etherian worlds forever. You already know. You already know we live. Peace to Malachi Maccabee in the building. Peace to the God. Peace to the righteous God. I see you, God. It's a blood clot vibes. Go to our commercial break. And if I make sure they get them bitters, yeah.
Bittersweet Herbals. What it tastes is bitter, but the results are sweet. Bittersweetherbals.com.
Run the rhythm.
Bittersweet Herbals. What it tastes is bitter, but the results are sweet. Bittersweetherbals.com.
Make sure to get your bitters. You know how we do. You know how we do. Angelica, I see you. Tabitha, I see you. I see y'all chiming in. I see the fam chiming in. Ezekiel, Israel, I see the bedroom. Daniela Brown, I see you. Peace to the family. Vanetta, I see you. What's good, sis? Giving us some good health tips on the food. Maximus One, what's good, family? What's good, family? We got Creator Gang in the building, all positivity, righteousness. So I'm showing you the biblical God is contradicting his own words with "thou shalt not kill," inspiring the children of Israel to kill off the children of Benjamin. They failed twice. Benjamin got the best of them. On the third go-round, the Lord smote Benjamin, and the house of Israel slaughtered goddamn like 25,000 niggas, all under the belt of the Lord, all under the authority of the Lord. These are false gods, assuming to be the creator, who have inspired mortals to believe their doctrine. Mortals out here running around slaying niggas thinking it's coming from the creator, and it's coming from a fallen angel. And this is the God of your Bible. What a hard pill to swallow. You dig? Any questions in the chat? Throw them in the chat if you got any questions. You know what I mean? We just building and enjoying the day. You know how we do. Because it's a blood clot vibes. Thou shalt not murder. And you got all this killing going on. It's a blood cleat vibes. It's false gods, yo. Gotta watch for them. They're working together. At times they go to war with each other. You dig? Uh-oh. He says, I don't have the proper understanding. The Most High doesn't contradict himself. So you trying to tell me that when the Most High in your Bible say thou shalt not kill, and then in Judges 12, the Lord is inspiring the children of Israel to kill the Benjamites, that's not a contradiction? Should the Lord say thou shalt not kill? But the Lord is encouraging Judah to go first to kill off Benjamin? No, not so easy, brother. You got to come better than that. Who was the angel that gave the authority for information? Does anyone know? Who was the angel that gave the authority? Authority of what? Authority of what? Give me some more detail behind that. The authority of the Bible, the authority of the Wasp, what you referencing? survive. It's just the creator contradicts itself. Let me show you a contradiction real quick. I'm gonna show you a contradiction in the Bible. Let me show you a contradiction, brother. It's a blood clot vibes. The man them say no contradictions in the Bible. Well, let me show you a contradiction of words. Just a quick contradiction of words, yeah. Because I is a man that like to show receipts, and man if I keep it so, you know, king. And if I just keep it so, you know, king. You know? So the young God earlier said the Bible don't contradict itself. He says you don't have the proper understanding, brother. The Most High doesn't contradict itself. All right, he said the Most High doesn't contradict itself. Now let me show you a contradiction. When we go to Exodus chapter 6, verse 3, I just showed the first contradiction, by the way, about the killing thing. Thou shalt not kill. Then I showed the children of Israel killing each other inspired by the Lord. So now we're going to show another contradiction in Exodus 6:3, where it states, and I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, Abraham, Ishak, and Yahub by the name Elohim El Shaddai, God Almighty. But by my name, Shem, Yahuwah, Jehovah, was I not known to them. So let's be fair that in this verse, God is letting you know that he appeared to Abraham by the name El Shaddai, God Almighty. But look what God said. But by my name Jehovah, was I not known to them. Known to them is who? Known to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's what it's saying. That they was not known and aware of the name Jehovah. So let's read that verse again. And I appeared unto Abraham, unto Ishak, and unto Yahub by the name God Almighty. But by my name, Jehovah, was I not known to them. Key point here, was I not known to them. Now, when we go to Genesis chapter 22, for verse 14, it states, and Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh, as it is to this day. In the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. So in this verse, it states that Abraham, where in this verse, Abraham is supposed to be unaware of the name Jehovah, while in Genesis chapter 22, it says Abraham named the place Jehovah. See that? What did it say? And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah. And then in Exodus 6:3, it states, but by my name Jehovah was I not known to them. So there go your contradiction right before your face, that Abraham was aware of Jehovah, while in Exodus 6:3 it states that Abraham was not aware of Jehovah. That's a cut dagger, nothing else to talk about. Easy work. Easy blood clot work, my brother. We ain't we still here, goddamn. We ain't gone nowhere yet, you know. Little interference from them ethers. I brought that Etherian energy down. Brought some of that Etherian energy down, interfering with the lower vibrational frequency. See, when we up the frequency, it interferes with the natural vibrational frequency of electricity. And we going against the pole. We going high above the pole. You did. Communicator Yahoo, bless up, we see ya. Hey, we back, you done know, Angelica, we back, got it, you done know. On this beautiful Sunday, you gotta give all praises to the Creator even for the seasons, you know what I'm saying? Even for the seasons, you gotta give thanks for the seasons, because I enjoy the change of seasons, from summer, from spring, summer to fall, winter. I ain't no holiday motherfucker, but I respect the seasons. You know what I mean? That's why we in the holiday season. We in the holiday spirit. So with that, we're gonna celebrate with some goddamn
chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To fine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
We're gonna continue to remind our brothers and sisters
To
that
fine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's that Lakers fire burner right there.
To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
See how I'm coughing? They're gonna be coughing just like that in Pine Old Heaven if they don't get it right. You dig? Matthew, what's good, family? Peace to the God. Peace to the God, Matthew in the building. I see you. Peace to the big homie. Peace. See this brother right here? This brother been rocking with me damn near since day one, yo. When I started like 2009, about a year after that, bro was on game. Day one. That's a day one. That's a day one YouTube homie right there. Shout out to the God. That's right, sis. Pine Oil Heaven is where these niggas are at. Don't you love the melody, though? Don't the melody just so refreshing? See what I'm saying? It sounds so refreshing. It's like
chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where
I'm
you
gonna wear my
headed,
goddamn
boy.
Santa
To
hat on you
pine or
niggas
you'll
next
have
time.
it.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine or you'll have it.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine or you'll have it.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine or you'll have it.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine or you'll have it.
Do you debate any camps whenever they want to step up to the plate? I got a couple debates on YouTube. Sarnetta, I was on Sarnetta TV. He called up to Zariak to debate, but he ran. He didn't want to do nothing. You know what I mean? So, Owaspi verse the Bible chapter and verse, especially dealing with the God concepts. Yeah, man, we with the shits. We with the shiznicks. Smoking light, no this out, no doubt. Shalom, where does Owaspi say I can be delivered from final heaven once there ministers and physicians? Yes, you can be delivered from final heaven. I have a whole video called The Deliverance of Hell. But yes, you will be delivered. Your works will become exhausted for delivering pine oil heaven. Delivering pine oil heaven. Book of Jehovah, chapter 8. Quick fast. So while you lingering in pine oil heaven, because it states here, enemy shall take enemy. This is going on in pine oil heaven. Enemy shall take enemy in pine oil heaven, and cast them in places of pine oil torment. And they shall have built, and they shall know no peace, no wisdom. Here's your deliverance, and your work of your heaven shall become as nothing. And ye shall what? Go about delivering hells and the spirits in chaos, and your labor shall become exhausting. Truly, you shall cry out because you have came and peopled the earth. So the brother asked the question, you shall go about delivering hells and spirits in the chaos. That's going to be your labor. So when these hells are created, when these hells are just like school, when there's a school fight, you have security come break that shit up. Sit them niggas down. Principal stand before them. What the hell y'all niggas fighting for? All y'all niggas is suspended. See you in a week. That's how that works in layman terms. So hells do get delivered and cleaned up, but niggas create the hells for themselves. People create these conditions for themselves. Yes, bless up my brother. It's a big man. Large up yourself, yeah. You say Cosmo Cal, the big homie. We don't duck no smoke. We actually go headlong into the smoke. Big facts. That's what I'm saying. The melody be so sweet. You know what I mean? That melody be so sweet. It's just like
chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Can't go wrong with that shit.
To pine or you'll have it.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine or you'll have it.
Chestnuts roasting on an open
That shit sounds so
fire.
sweet.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine or you'll have it.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting
Chestnuts,
on
that
an
shit
open
sounds sweet.
fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
That's exactly where they headed. That's right. Battle of the Holy Books, man. We still here going strong. We here. Chapter and verse, we here. Shout out Malachi Maccabee. We in the Billy. We're already exposing these guys as being angels. We're exposing these guys as being false angels, not even being true and rightful to themselves. I can see if you find out that your God was an angel, but then he was rightful and true to himself, he's telling you to bow down and kiss his fucking foot. Even in Revelations, when John bowed down to the angel, and the angel said, "Nah, don't do that. Don't bow down to me. Bow down to the nigga sitting on the throne. That's who you bow down to." He's still telling you to bow down to a nigga, but just not him. See how that worked? These false gods put a number and did a number on us, man. Keep in mind, this shit is going to take thousands of years of undoing. It took thousands of years for these niggas to establish themselves. Luamong been on the scene since, like, spiritually, around the 10th century BC. You know what I mean? 7th century BC is when he started, you know what I mean, floating around in the heavens. By the time 4th century BC, Luamong is on the earth fucking with Ezra. He's making his move. He's making his earthly move. Now that his heavenly plateau was established, he went down and found Ezra and got Ezra to compile that Tanakh. Bam, now he got a foothold on the earth through Ezra. So all these Tanakhs that's going to be distributed is going to be under Luamong's inspiration. So that's Luamong's harvest of spirits going into the heavenly kingdom after these people die believing in this doctrine. After Ezra, goddamn, came Constantine. Then he got with Constantine and put the foot through Constantine and established Christianity. Now he got the stronghold on the planet. See that? So you got Luamong fucking with Ezra, 4th, 5th century BC. Then you got damn near 1,000 years later, 3rd century AD, he fucking with Constantine. Look at the length of time that Luamong is around. What happened to Ezra's spirit? By the time Luamong got to Constantine, where the hell Ezra's spirit at? Huh? This shit get deep. For those who's deep in the Awaspi, you know what I'm talking about. This shit get deep. You start raising these questions. So Luamong is the dominant god. He inspired the Old Testament and the New Testament. He inspired the compiling of both books. In the Awaspi, it stated he selected previous records coming out of the regions of Canaan and Egypt or whatever, mainly Egypt. And then in the Ezra 14, it states he mouth mumbled the book. He mouth mumbled it. And then the Holy Ghost came to him, and he was filled with the Holy Ghost. Luamong was considered the Holy Ghost. Luamong styled himself the Holy Ghost. He styled himself the Christ. He styled himself the Lord. You can find all those in Christianity. Yep. So we just vibing family. You know how we do, yo. Yeah, we just sound good vibes, you know? Cause it's a blood clot vibes. Who were the Essenes, Nazarenes, and Ebionites inspired by? Well, I know the Essenes was inspired by Jehovah's angels, basically. The Essenes was inspired by true God under Jehovah through the Etherian angels. You dig? So they had it right. That's what a lot of the Essene Gospels match up with what the Owaski say. You know what I mean? And keep in mind, during the time of the Essenes, there was a lot of falsehood going on around that time. You're talking at a time where Luamong is now making it. Well, I'll be damned. We back at it. The weather kind of crazy out here, fam. I'm back though. We back at it, goddammit. We ain't gone nowhere. It's a blood clot vibes. We ain't gone nowhere. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire for these niggas. Enjoy the day. It's a beautiful day outside. Gotta love the season changes as the fall and the leaves fall. You know how we do. One in the chat. Okay, I see you. We back at it. It's a blood clot vibes. Check it, right? See that right, Tit? That's the moon cycle. That's 1 month, right, of a moon. Talk about the moon cycles overnight. Now, this is how the moon cycles work. When that first slit of light you see right there, connection went out again, but I'm back at it. But what I was doing, I was sharing my screen, showing you the sun, moon, and stars. Be troubling on my signal. The vibration is radiating so high, it's giving me technical difficulties. Black screen just went, Selah was going. I know, right? I don't even know where I left off at. I was going into like, yeah, I look back, I'm like, what? This shit off signal? Oh, I need to keep my other computer on my live just to know. When this shit black out. You know how we do though. It's some blood clot vibes. You put my phone on so I can see when I go out. All right, now I can see myself so the shit go out. That mind be interfering with that high frequency. We bringing high frequency to this drone. Where I left off at, I was talking about the moon cycles, but I don't know what part of the moon cycles I left off at. You dig? Cause it's a blood clot vibes. And where I left off at when I went blank. All right, so here you have the moon cycle. All right, here you got the moon cycle. This is one moon cycle, or better yet, 1 month. In the moon cycle, you have 4 consecutive weeks, again, until you see the crescent. When you see the crescent is when you continue to count the weeks. So if the new moon came after the 30th, the crescent would be right here. And then you'll start the count of 7 from that point, moving forward. So if you see the crescent 7 days after the crescent, you see the moon is half and half. These are Sabbath right here. These are 4-quarter Sabbath right here. 7, 14, 21, 28. These never change. It's consistent. And this is an example. If it's a 29-day moon cycle and you go out the next day and you see the crescent moon, understand that the previous moon cycle is a 29-day cycle. And then you jot it down, that's 29 days for that previous moon cycle. Now here's the moon cycle without the new moons. This is consistent. This never changes. From the first moon cycle up here, to the 20 coming out of 4 weeks. These never change. So regardless if the new moon is a 29-day cycle or a 30-day cycle, once you start from the crescent, it's always going to be these same consistent 7, 4, 21, 28, 14, 28, 28. 21, 28. So this is an example of the new moon when it's 2. So if you come out on the 29th at the evening sky, you don't see the moon, then you wait till the next night. If you go out and you still don't see the moon, then when you come out on that third night, you're going to see that crescent. Understand that the previous moon cycle was a 30-day moon cycle. So if it was to come out on the 29th and you see the crescent, you will know that the previous moon cycle would be a 29. If it's 2 days of 29, then you come out on the 30th, and then you come on the 1st, then you see it, understand that the previous moon cycle. All right, we back at it. We back at it. You know what I mean? A little small delay. We back at it though. So now coming back to this now. Now we here with it. Now this is how. Boop, 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 boop. That's how that works. So this is how you track the moon cycle throughout the year at the beginning of every moon cycle. The first moon cycle is going to look like a bullhorn, like how you see here. That's when the sun has completed its oscillation. It's up and down. So when you look at the moon cycle at the beginning of every month, that's the key to catch the moon cycle, the crescent moon at the beginning of every month. The crescent moon is going to show the direction of the sun. So by catching the moon cycle at the beginning of every month, you're tracking the sun cycle throughout the year. So the first moon cycle will look like this. The second, you'll start noticing on its tilt, and it'll continue to tilt until the sixth moon cycle when it's completely resting on its tilt like this. You'll notice this in the summertime. When the summertime comes, you'll notice the new moon will appear like this. And then it'll begin to fall back on its tilt like this. And by the time the 12th moon comes, it's back rested on its belly. And that's giving you a whole year right there. So it's showing you through the crescent moon of each, at the beginning of each moon, the direction of the sun, how it oscillates. So it's doing, that's what it's doing. Just as an example. See what I'm saying? And that's from the vantage point of us standing at, looking down that evening every month, and that's how it's moving. It's moving left and right, and that's that serpent's coil. That's moving like that serpent. You see that? It's moving back and forth. It's moving like a serpent. Now, when we pick up a serpent, right? So this is what I'm showing you. The movement of the sun is like a movement of a serpent. So now when you look at the serpent, right? Let's look at it from the vantage point that we was looking at it from. Like, for example, like this. Let's look at the serpent. You see how this move left and right coming like that? That's how the serpent moves, the solar system. It moves like this. Now, when we look at the illustration of the sun throughout the year, if you notice, the sun is moving in the same manner, left and right, right and left. So if the planets was dragging behind the sun, it'll be moving like a serpent. And that's why the Owaspis call it the Great Serpent, based off its movement from right to left. So looking at this very view from a flat plane straight ahead, if we was to look at it, it'll appear to be moving right and left from a flat plane. We're looking at it from a top plane. But if you lay this flat and looking at it straight ahead, it'll appear to be moving left and right. The same way the image here appears to be moving left and right. That's just an example of the solar system in motion as the Great Serpent, using the moon cycle to determine that. See that? Surgical with this bitch, Jake. You know what I mean? Small references, just a little vibes, you dig? But check it, family. I'm about to get ready to sign out, man. I've been rocking with y'all for a minute. I got a couple things I gotta go out and handle, you know, big man things that. You see what I'm saying? We're gonna keep the vibes going like we always do. Cause it's a vibe. You dig? You know how we blood clot do, but before we push out, let me make sure to get y'all bitters.
Bittersweet Herbals. What it tastes is bitter, but the results are sweet. Bittersweetherbals.com.
Run the rhythm.
Bitter results are sweet. Bittersweetherbals.com.
Yes, family. And your boy Selah Shalom is getting ready to jam my body. Here, you know how we do. Peace, love, and life, family. We out of here. It's a vibes. Hold up before I go. Hold up. Let them cut the goddamn music, DJ. Cut the blood clot music selector. Just sit down. I totally forgot that it was Sunday. All right, there we go. The internet. Before the internet go crazy. All right. Damn. Come on. All right, yeah. Bet. Tune in tonight, 6 o'clock, within 30 minutes less than. We got the sister sit down, the Nazarene sisters tonight at 6 o'clock. Tune in. That's going to be on, damn, I wish I had the link. Y'all can throw in the chat real quick. It's going to be on Tekiva channel, though. I mean, not Tekiva, Ema, Set Apart Living. But tune in tonight, 6 o'clock for the sisters sit down. You got to face this, the Nazarene and the Owaspis sisters that came together, can create a conglomerate, moving as one unit under the Creator. So we're showing them popping. We got the sisters on top of their game. We got the sisters rocking with us. So don't think it's just brothers out here rocking with this Owaspi. We got the sisters knee deep in the Owaspi as well. And with that, salute. I'm going to see the sisters later. I'm going to chime in. I got a couple things, but I'm going to definitely be chopped in, sis. So salute to the sisters. Peace and blessings. Create a gang. Peace to the righteous gods and goddesses. And we out of here.